Yes, yes, yo. See, I'm saying self like one of these rappers.
You be rapper.
Anyway, hello everybody, we're back. This is the James and Oris show. My name is James Tyla.
And Oris, so much here.
And yes, we've not been around for a bit, for a minute. Everybody has been busy. Not just that. These days, we are also trying to manage our resources because Nigeria is Nigerianizing everybody. So nobody has time to come and play. We're not messing about anymore. Yeah, Abi, what's the best we talk?
Yeah. Anyway, but yes, we are back, and sorry for the breaking transmission, but yes, here we are. And today, let's just get into the stories. I think the first thing I want to talk about is, well, two women. One from South Africa, the other one from Nigeria. Recently, Tyla, everybody knows, make me water.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. She praised Tems, saying that Tems opened the doors for global recognition for African artists.
Women, artists or women?
Female artists in Africa. Let me even quote it. Let me quote her directly. Tems is so talented. She's literally a force. I am so honored to have worked with her. She has opened so many doors for us, she said. We made such a beautiful song. They have a song together on Tyla's record with such a beautiful message. It is a song for the girls and it is made by the girls. So I guess what this means, what Tyla is saying is that Tems' success, in my own head, I think, has made it easy for people to talk about female African artists. So when you say Tyla had a song like this, somebody can say, oh, okay, Tyla, she's also from Africa, you know, just the way Tems was. And Tems had that success with the Wixie song, had the song with Drake and Future, you know, and of course some people also know her own solo work as well. So I think that's what Tyla's trying to say. The part me as a Nigerian male was wondering is that where does all of this, what does this mean for people who showed up before
them?
Tems, like
Tiwa
our madam,
Savage.
Tiwa Savage. What does it put?
Yemi Alade.
Yemi Alade. Okay, those are like, I guess, the two people who really showed up before her. Then people who are contemporaries like
Umaumi.
No, I want to say Aresta, but
Aresta,
actually
okay.
even Aresta and Tems, there's like a 3-year
space
gap between Tems' arrival and Ira's, you know, but you can see that they are kind of the same generation, generally, broadly speaking. So I think Tiwa is the major thing here because it looks like Tyla seems to be saying that, okay, people are not quiet in the US because this is global. When they say global, they really mean America, to be honest, you know. This probably means that Tiwa's music, Tiwa as an artist, isn't quite as famous or as popular as Tems. And so since it started as speaking, you know.
Yeah.
So what that means is that Tyla can see that people can draw a line from her music to Tems' music in a way that she can't see that being drawn from Tiwa Savage's music, you know. And as a person who is Nigerian, and we know that Nigeria here, Tiwa is supposed to be number one, even if that's arguable these days, but for at least for the past almost like a decade, it's been Tiwa all the way. So it feels like, okay, there's something to be said for how someone can be successful in a particular space and somebody else can be successful in a different space. But because of the way the hierarchy, because of the way the world is ranked, it feels like that other person's success, because it's in the US, is more important or is more lucrative or is more recognized than the person who has only conquered Africa. And what do you think, James?
So, I mean, you see the way she said it, Africa, right? Yeah. If I look at it from the wide Africa perspective, I'm sure I need to do a little bit of research or just look at the books to see which or what other African female artists had done that. But I mean, that's without even going too deep into it. I know that Angelique Kidjo had even won that Grammy back to back, because sometimes I just feel like maybe sometimes they look at not just the popularity or the acceptance, they also look at what you have achieved internationally or globally that connects you to the music that, you know, with coming from what she's saying.
But you know that the one difference between why Angelique doesn't come in this doesn't come up in the conference, because Angelique's music was never mainstream.
Yes.
So that's a heavy difference. So because Angelique isn't perceived, frankly, as somebody who did pop music, it is very difficult for them to talk about Angelique in the same breath as you discuss a Tems or even a Tiwa Savage, because these people are like mainstream pop acts. Angelique is
okay. I totally understand. Yeah. Then but also while we're on live radio, I was also saying that sometimes when this news come out, when we hear these things, it's as if somebody is looking for a way to object or to puncture and say no, she didn't know. But I think that it's okay. I mean, if this is how she feels and this is her opinion at this point of at this point, it's what it is, and it's okay. And truly does not take away from the fact that Tems truly has done very well for herself. Tems did Coachella just not so long ago. You know, we can count the artists, African artists that have done Coachella.
Yes.
Not everybody has done this. These are not ordinary feats, you know.
Yeah.
So yes, you can give her that flower. If
no, of course, yes. No, you know, that's why I'm always like, I'm one of those people who looks at Tems' career critically, and I'm like, I don't see anything but the great timing and a heavy dose of luck. Because sheesh, the lady, if you really think about Tems' music, I don't think that in the past 5 years, I think she should have really kind of started knowing her in 2018. From 2018 to 2024, altogether, Tems' record that she just how that's her own songs, where she might feature somebody, but it's her own songs. It's probably not up to 20 songs in a 5-year period. So if you did the math, that's like 4 songs per year. That's a really, really ridiculous
impact, right?
No, yes. No, it's a really ridiculous, it's a really small amount of production
to
for
the
yes, to the rewards. It's
Absolutely.
like it's like an incredible what's it called? Rewards to productivity ratio.
Yes.
It's insane. I don't think anybody else has that. You know? 20 songs. Less than, like I said, it's really less than 20 songs. She has 2 EPs. I think for your ears or something. I can't remember the other one. The two EPs. The maximum song on either of them is 7. The other one I think is 7 tracks and 5 tracks. Together that's 12 songs. Maybe then she has a few other singles. All together it's not probably not up to 20, maybe like 15 or there, but all together. You know. People like Kiss Daniel has like, I don't know, 5 albums now. I mean 1 or 2 EPs and something. Thousands of songs.
Yeah.
Outside of Nigeria, maybe Africa, I doubt very much that people know this man outside of this particular region. You get?
I mean London, but I don't know about America, you know.
No, but even in London, I'm saying the amount of, he has never really crossed into the mainstream outside of anywhere but Africa. Kiss Daniel doesn't have it. So say like how we have Techno and Pana that was kind of big at some point. Davido and If, you know that. Kiss doesn't have any song of that. Maybe except in the West. Even Bugada is the biggest. Even his Bugada was the biggest song. Imagine what Calm Down did for Rema.
Oh well, yeah.
Bugada did not touch that.
Did
not touch that for Kiss Daniel.
True.
You get?
That's true.
And this man is. I saw the other one a few days ago. He had a new one coming out on May. He said his birthday May 1st. Yes. You get? So when you think about that, that's on the level of productivity. You think about the level of songwriting. I don't think Tems wrote as well as Asha did.
Yes, in a prime.
Yes.
Is it a prime?
Yes, of course, in Asha's prime. I don't think Tems is a better writer than Asha ever was. You get? I don't think Tems is a better writer than even Jesse Jaggs as a rapper. You get? None of these people ever really touched what Tems is enjoying internationally.
At all.
You get? In terms of time you've spent on the whatever and features you've done, Tems doesn't touch Tiwa. Tiwa cannot touch Tems in the US. You get? So on every single what's it called thing you want to judge Tems on, she's inferior to at least 3 or 4 other people in the industry.
Yes.
And yet, she's, as we speak right now, in the West, Tiwa is like top 3.
Tems,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Tems is like top 3. You get? Meanwhile, in all the individual, so it's so funny. I mean, that's why Nigeria talk about grace, Abi. Because all these possible categories, how many songs have you written? How great are the songs you've written? How many hit songs have you had? All of them, there's a good chance if you think about Nigeria alone.
Yes.
Tems doesn't rank in top 3 or top 5 of any particular thing you want to judge her on.
Yes.
You know, but in terms of the reward she's received internationally,
it's mind blowing.
It's mind blowing. Oscars nominated,
mind blowing.
Grammy, you know, Billboard awards, playing at Coachella,
affiliation. It's mind blowing.
It's crazy, man. So anyway,
and they literally respect her. They see her. And
she has a huge amount of followers that are like that are based over there.
It's a big deal.
You know, so it's incredible. So of course, I understand Tyla's what's it called now, giving Tems her flowers. You know, but yeah, one also have to understand that, you know, for Tems, it's not necessarily a case of quantity or even quality, to be honest, when I think about it sometimes, you know. It's really just a case of this lady showed up at the exact time the world was ready for her.
Yes.
It's what I make a joke sometimes. I said, look, if Two-Face showed up in Nigerian music 10 years after he did,
what?
He'll be bigger than Burna Boy.
Fact.
You know?
Fact.
So sometimes in this life, it's not that you do the most, though. It's just that it's the God ready for you. It's the market ready to collect what you want to bring. You will put something. You will put 1 naira in. You will get $3,000 out of it.
True.
Sometimes you will show up, put 10 naira in, and only get 20 naira.
True.
So yeah. So anyway, I think that's the Tems gift.
Let's go on to the next.
Anyway, let's go on to the next. Yes. we should probably discuss Baba Ijesha. So coming back to
Yes.
a Nigerian story, you know, I think as everybody who follows Nollywood, at least Yoruba Nollywood, might be aware of, some 2 years ago, an actor, a very popular actor actually in Yoruba Nollywood, was
Popularly known
arrested.
as Baba Ijesha.
Baba Ijesha, yes, he was arrested and he was accused of defiling a minor. And of course, it was a topic that raged for months and months and months and months. He finally ended up in court, and the man was in prison and he's been in jail for like about 2 years now. Anyway, we heard now that his lawyers are putting in a case, trying to appeal the case and saying, hey, he confessed to whatever he confessed to earlier because he was being beaten and he was under duress. But actually, what had happened was he had a script. So even if there was a video of what he was doing to the 16-year-old of his colleague, who was like an adopted child of his colleague, it wasn't the way it was perceived. This man was trying to act out something that was written in a script by somebody else who apparently is, I don't know if he's agreeing to that anyway, you know. So that's where they're at now. Of course, the prosecution is saying that they should strike off this appeal because it's ridiculous. Because, anyway, it's ridiculous, that's what they're saying. So it feels like, okay, 2 years later, my guy has had they've probably had a lot of legal back and forth, and like, you know what, this is possibly the one way we can get this man out of this trouble. But I don't know, does this say anything about the Nigerian league? No, maybe not. Maybe that's a general thing. No. Yeah, not really, right?
No, I don't think so. I think basically it's just him having this conversation with his lawyers back and forth and deciding to go by this particular, because I know that in some cases where you know, in this type of case that he's having to deal with, lawyers, in fact, regardless of the case, lawyers will keep looking for ways, especially if you're still paying, you are still able to, and you have people that are supporting or paying for your legal and this thing. Lawyers will always be on duty, they will always be on call to see what can be done. Know? Yeah. So because even after 2 years, it's only proper that I'm sure he's not happy about where he is. He's not. I think I don't know if it's supposed to be like, I don't know how many years. Is it supposed to be 16 years or something?
No, I don't think.
I'm not sure, but
7.
Okay, so but 2 years is a long time, really.
Bro, 6 months. So 6
months.
Do
you understand? So I believe that his lawyers. I mean,
16 years.
16 years. 16 years. Yeah. So I believe that they decide to say, okay, look, let's try again. You know, I don't know if it's the same judge that would be dealing with it or handling it. I'm really not privy into the core details of how it should work. Yeah, but it was funny to me at first to say, what? Excuse me, this guy is back again to say this thing is not so. Do you understand? So what happened before? You know, talking the whole aspect of maybe he confessed under duress or whatever. But even at that, I think that's something you can also claim when they went for trial. He would have said, look, this is what the situation is. But having said that, it's okay. I think what will happen at the end of the day is he'll still have his day in court if the judge
finds it worthy to go that way. You know, so but yeah, it's just the scripting. It seems to me like a very weird thing to say, but let's let the legal system handle the legal system. Yeah. Anyway, yes, another man who is in the news. I don't know if this man ever leaves the news for bad stuff. Funny, Davido, otherwise known as David Adeleke. Apparently, the producer of Napji, who says, at least he said he did Jowo, Femme, and is it which other song again? Sorry, I would have to just confirm. At least those 2 songs. I'm sure something else. And Sunlight. I don't remember the song. Sunlight.
If producer who's claiming
who has done stuff for Davido says he hasn't been paid royalty. That he was paid, I think, a figure beforehand.
Yes, $500K.
Yeah, you know, but for each of the songs apparently. But he's supposed to get royalties.
Publishing and royalties. So here's my thing.
Davido hasn't paid that.
Let's not waste so much time on this thing. You know, I believe what I know. When it comes to producer and the artist work together, I can understand that it's easy to go for Davido, to say Davido because he's the popular guy, he's the big guy, and it will give you more attention real quick. But truthfully, Davido is not the one that owes you on any of these things. Let me tell you, when you do that initial part of producing the record, let's say you were ignorant, you didn't know how things were supposed to work. I understand, fine. But after that time, if you now realize and you now learn this is how this is, maybe you did not sign a split sheet, you did not sign a publishing or any of those things that you're supposed to sign, fine. If you eventually get who or the lawyer that will help you fight for it, what you are supposed to do next is you write the people that are distributing the record. You write the people that are distributing the DSPs that are handling the record, and of course, that will for you to or demand or for your lawyer to write them. They are the ones that will check on David and say, David, this is what this person is claiming, blah 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 blah. Now, if the story is that David told them that they should not answer you or they should not give you, because everybody knows that when there's music, there are two people. The parties involved are always the artists, the songwriters, and the producers. Do you understand? Without the producer, you cannot get this music that everybody's talking about today. So the people or the DSPs cannot claim not knowing. They cannot claim on looking, because even from the contract that they give you as an artist, these information are demanded. Who produced this song? It's supposed to be filled. Do you understand? Who did this? It's supposed to be filled. Publishing that is not your own. If you are not the producer of the song, the publishing cannot come to you. David is not collecting the guy's publishing. The publishing is so funny that it stays there in mid-air. That's why just a simple term. Do you understand? It stays in mid-air until somebody comes to claim it. And before you can come and claim it, there are other things that has to be provided or requested for. Now, another major part of the music work is the masters. A lot of times, the artist or the producer, if it's a record company, owns the masters. But it does not take away from the fact that whoever the producer has produced that record will get his share. Now, if you as an artist have not been getting your share of what is supposed to come to you, because David is not going to collect the money, because like I said, it's split. David is not going to collect the money for the producers. So, but if you don't know how to go about that, and sometimes communication, if you're falling out, that's a different ball game entirely. Where you don't know how to talk to the video game, you don't know how to. Do you understand? But communication, when you realize, David is your friend. If two of you were working together before, go ahead, reach out to David, Baba, or his management, or but write the DSPs, use your lawyer, write the DSPs and say this is what the situation is, and then at the end of the day, not coming to Twitter, come and tweet David did not pay your royalty, all these things.
Yeah, I feel like you're right in terms of like the legal whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that in the world that we live in right nowadays, especially for somebody who is famous, sometimes you want to bring it out to the public. And to be fair, the people who are not quite educated on these matters, as you just elucidated now, for instance, something like this, he brought it out to the public. If this guy watches this video, suddenly he understands what he needs to do. Maybe he didn't know before.
Yes.
So and again, like I said, Davido, public figure, and let's face it, this man has been in news for stuff like this in the past. It looks to me like there's a chance that you speak to Davido or you call him, agree pick, or you send an email, agree respond. After a while, you're like, okay, what else can I even do? You're a public figure. There's no way that I would not see this in public. If he gets to certain spots, you almost be forced to respond, or at least you would know that this is a thing that has happened. Exactly. So that's one thing. Another thing is, like I said, not many people are even aware of the legal thing of who they should speak to and everything. So that's also another part of it. But I think it's important we talk about Davido and some of these actions. Just to make the joke that rich people don't like to pay for anything. Now, if they were paying off their debts, who told them they'll be as rich as they possibly are? Because Davido this year, late last year, was called out by the former NFF. Is it former current guy? Former NFF guy, Amaju Pinnick, that he gave him money to perform at something. He didn't show up. He had to, again, somebody as in quotes rich or respected as Amaju.
That case is out of court.
Yes, had to come to the public space to come and even say some of these things you get before the court took whatever. And apparently Davido or whatever, they said they settled out of court, and they said he was going to pay him 30 million out of court. That was kind of like the agreement. That was Davido. I think he's also been called out. There's a guy who said something about advert or whatever it is. Abu Salah, exactly. There was that one too. This is all within like a 12-month period. There was another girl way back then who said that she was in his video and Davido was owing her money and he didn't quite pay. It just feels to me like there's all of these, what was it called now, issues that just keep coming up with Davido and money. And all of us know this man. He tells us he's Omo Babalo. So it just feels a little weird that, okay, why for somebody who does have money, because we know he has money on his own, his father also has money, why are you getting yourself into entanglement with all of these kind of financial issues? Because frankly, the way I see it, I'm not sure that this producer in particular would come out in public if Davido, or whoever is managing Davido, had done the right thing. It looks to me like I don't think he would do this. So in my own view, and Davido responded and said your papa apparently in the comment section, which is another uncouth. I don't know. Nigerian celebrities sometimes they bother me because I'm like, I'm not sure that this is the way you should go about something like this. But in any case, hopefully this matter gets into court if it needs to get into there, and then we actually know somebody settles somebody. Because if Davido feels badly about it, you can sue for defamation. You get? So let's hope it gets into court, and let's even see what happens there, because we will see a lot more things if they actually just get in there. But I suspect that only Davido again, before it gets there, he would want to settle the thing. Fight a bit.
Especially if he knows that he's the one at fault.
Yes, he's at fault, because it's a major thing. He got there and he wanted to sort it out of court. Something that he could have done earlier. Whatever, he was busy posting online for a period before he went to go and do that. So the guy has wahala, Jerry. They will tire me. Anyway, I think for the last story we should Two Baba or Two Face, depending on what, or Innocent Idibia, whichever one you know him by. Anyway, his daughter, one of his daughters.
One of the daughter with Annie Macaulay.
Isabel. Anyway,
Isabel, yes.
Has said that she wasn't quite fine with the portrayal of her parents on the popular show on this was on Netflix, right? Yes. Young African famous, famous and African, whatever. Young one thing. Anyway, that particular show, as you might remember, the show had 2 seasons, and across both seasons, Annie Dibia's relationship and whatever with Two-Face was
put on the spotlight.
Practically, maybe the most
talked about.
Yes, talked
about.
The
highlights of the show.
Exactly. Part of both seasons, across both seasons. Whatever with Two-Face was the major one. So now, of course, a year, 2 years later, her daughter, their daughter, is saying she had like a YouTube channel where she talks about that whole thing, and says she wasn't happy about how the parents were portrayed on this show. As a person who is vaguely interested in something like this, I'm just like, but if she feels this way, so good, that is her, that's the daughter, good, right? What is more important is what the parents felt, because they were the ones who were actually on the show. Were they happy or were they not happy? Because in my head, I remember when the first season aired, and people were talking all kinds of things about Annie and her apparent extreme loyalty to her husband, Two-Face. What I said was like, okay, I hope the money is what's this dragging, that they're dragging Annie online. Lo and behold, the second season comes, Annie is still there. So I don't know what the daughter is talking about, because it looks to me like the lady
enjoying it.
Yes, her mother, at least, because Two-Face was very just a periphery of the whole show. Her mother was the person who was really, really in it. It looks to me like Annie Macaulay kind of felt like the juice was what the squeeze. The wahala online was what the money
paid, or the attention, everything.
Or attention, exactly. Whatever it is that she got from it, you understand? Because she came back a second time. I won't lie, I was kind of surprised that she showed up a second time for the show. So I just assumed, okay, that the money must have been good enough, because they really said a lot of
maybe they were already paid for 2 seasons.
Okay, that's another possibility. But some people did not show up in the second season though. Well, I've seen other shows where the person doesn't show up in the second season. So I don't know if that's the case, because at a point in time, it wasn't even sure that it's going to be a second season. I started to see the trailers where I think it was the Swanky guy said, that there was going to be another one. And then, to be fair, the first one was successful, let's not even lie, because this dragging was evidence of the fact that people actually did show. They actually show up for that particular show. So it was inevitable that there was going to be a second one. Will there be a third one? I don't know. We don't know yet. But given how they dragged the first time and showed up for the second one, and how they probably dragged that for the second one, if there's a third one, I suspect she might show up. Unless, of course, the daughter now, this statement the daughter has made, probably makes them have a rethink about the whole thing. Because I'm thinking to myself now that, okay, I know that there's a way editing makes things look worse, especially in reality shows, the way they edit it and the way they present it. There's a way it makes everything look worse or better than it actually was. But to me, I think the core of the criticism the lady suffered is subject to interpretation. But what the core is, this woman loves her husband, irrespective of whatever he has been accused of in the past. And that was the major thing people were hammering on, at least online. So I think the daughter is saying that there is something about the way it was filmed, the way it was edited, the way it was presented, that wasn't actually the case in real life. I think she might be right, but I also suspect that even if they showed it the way she wanted it to be shown, the criticism would not have reduced as much as she probably thinks it would, frankly, because I think that, yes, these two people are for each other. No matter what anybody outside says, they will always be for each other. Or at least Annie will always be for Two-Face. At least that's how we perceive it. So maybe in a case, it's a shame that, of course, certain things people, parents, children might not like it. But I suspect that some children will at least be grateful that their parents are fine enough to have done something like that together. I don't know. But
so I also think that I mean, as for Isabella to talk about this thing at this point in time, I mean, how many years later?
I think it was about a year. I think
a year later. I think it was last. Okay, so but I mean, at least now, also mean, or you know, a credit to the fact that she's growing. You know, for her to talk about it. You know, I don't know if she took the mom's permission to, you know, talk about this whole thing. Yeah, about this video. But I also feel like, I mean, it is also showing that whatever you do on the internet, one day your children will grow up enough to come and talk about it, or to come and, do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Also, I try to look at it from the angle of, do we really care about, you know, the whole thing that happened in those? I mean, have we not gone past that whole thing that happened in that series? Do you understand? Season 1 and season 2, people have talked about it. People have trolled. The people that wanted to troll have trolled. People that wanted to say whatever they wanted to say at that point in time have done what they. I mean, but right now I don't know if there will be. Is anybody listening to the fact that she doesn't like how they portrayed the parents at the time? Just what I'm saying. Perhaps if she had said it at that time when the whole thing was, the noise was loud and everything, maybe people want to listen to say, okay, what are you talking about exactly? But now we've moved past that whole series. I don't know if there will be any impact, even though yes, it made it to the news. I don't know.
I'm going to say exactly. It means that people are. You know, it means that at least some of us heard what she said. Of course, you are right that yes, I'm not sure that the audience that saw it are in any way comparable to the audience that are hearing of what she's saying now.
Yes.
I'm sure there's a huge gap between those two things. The only few people are hearing what she's saying and commented at that time, but I wouldn't have expected her to like contribute at the time it was super hot, because it only just fuels the thing more and more and more. That's what I think. That sometimes they're like, okay, if you speak then they will add that into the whole story too. And she's like, I don't think that's like the greatest thing. Also, just let the adults handle their whatever. When it's time, she would say what she wanted to say. And again, I don't know the structure of her show. It could also be that somebody asked a question and
maybe
maybe.
Let's not also be shocked if tomorrow you hear that Rich Young African and Famous season 3 is about to go live. Just saying.
Oh, and this is part of the
just saying. Just, I don't know.
That's what I say about James. You guys must know. James has conspiracy theories in his head. You just think they know all of these things that we see.
Just saying.
It's engineered by by some people somewhere. You get?
Know,
so yeah. So James never believes anything that has gone viral first. You know, somebody has done something first until we find that one out. So that's a James thing. I don't know about that. That's a James thing. But anyway, yes, we've come to the end of this particular episode of our return. This is the comeback show.
If you watch to the end, thank you very much. Thank you. You are a big supporter. And if you've not subscribed, please
help us out.
Very simple. Just press the subscribe button.
Exactly.
You're on something like 74 or something. I beg, just push us to 100 at least to start with. Let's
also be happy.
You know,
see 100. But thanks so much for sticking to the end. And as always, that's James Silas.
This is Oris. You can follow us on our social media handles right there. Peace.